afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Lisente to Makholo. My name is Tukiso TK Ntebe. I am the founder of TKO Consultancy. I'm also a financial wellness coach. I love to talk about money, particularly when it focuses on young professionals, entrepreneurs, such that we can have thought-provoking money conversations. It is an honor and a privilege to be hosting one of the 2019 Lisente to Makholo Savings Challenge participant, the beautiful, stylish Rethabile Kepa. And today we are really just going to hear about her money adventure, as it were. Hello, beautiful lady. Welcome to Lisente to Makholo.
Thank you, and thank you for that lovely introduction. I'm just going to put in my bio, going forward.
So the one thing I love is I love to introduce people in a very lavish and stylish way because, it makes you feel good. And when you feel good, you do
it's
good.
Like, okay, I didn't know that about myself. Okay.
Oh, all right, so without wasting any more time, because I always say time is money, what would you say is your past relationship with money, using one word to describe your relationship with money?
I think the one word would definitely be precarious.
Okay, why?
I'm of two minds, One is money is made to be spent. If you work hard, spend your money, like surround yourself with beautiful things, But on the other hand, being a young professional, being in finance, being an economist, I know that you need to preserve your money. There's rainy days, and delayed gratification is a good thing, sometimes. So that's why I'm always like, it's almost like having an angel and a devil. One is just like, spend me, and I'm like, yay. And then the other's like, girl, if you don't put me into your savings account, next year's going to be a problem. So it's always been that, not necessarily battle, but that balance, trying to strike that balance between, let me make myself happy now, and then let's also prepare for the future.
And for me, when you speak about balance, how easy is it to achieve that balance? And so you've got the one voice saying spend, spend, spend. The other voice is saying no, preserve, preserve, preserve. So how do you find the balance?
I think it's one thing that actually a friend of mine once said is you can have everything, but you can't have everything at once.
Ooh.
And I think it's something I've definitely started applying to my finances and trying to instill financial discipline, There are certain things I want now, and there are certain things I want in the future. So, for instance, if I want to purchase certain things, right? I'm like, okay, I'll have a list. Okay, I'd love to have all of these in a space of 1 month, but I know it's not viable, right? But if I put in some discipline, I can have them all, but it'll just take a year. Yeah. So it's I think trying to instill that delayed gratification. And obviously with some things, sometimes it's just an emotional thing. Something you get now or you buy in 24 hours, when you look back in 3 months, you didn't really need it, right? But then you've foregone what you could have had in the future that you might really, really want. So it's just remembering your goals and that balance. And so I think I've started implementing short-term, medium-term, and long-term, and I think that makes it a lot easier. And the idea that sometimes applying long-term means I'm going to get nicer things, which is very important.
So for me, the one thing that also stuck out is a conversation you had with your friend. Is there something that's normal in your circle of friends that you talk about money? And if so, how comfortable or easy is it for you as a group of friends to talk about money?
I think the older we get, the more the conversation around money, is becoming more prevalent because, the downside of adulting is everything needs money and everything's on you, So we start having those conversations because we'll have, the top level dreams, I know young South Africans, Black South Africans call it the Black Diamond Dream, right? So you'll have those things that you want to tick box, and then so we'll have those conversations like, okay, how can we get there? Where can we plug in the holes now? And just also holding ourselves accountable. We just came off a week, a holiday, and for some of us that was a long weekend. That usually means brunches and
all the finer things in life.
But then you're like, guys, it's the middle of the month. Can we really afford this? But remember, your short-term goal is you want to get a new phone, or you want to take a holiday. So the conversations are becoming more prevalent and more intentional.
Intentional.
Yeah,
I like the word
as
intentional.
we grow old and sort of just hold each other accountable to our dreams. Yeah.
And then, so 2019, you decided to join the Lisente to Makholo Savings Challenge. At the time, I did not know what I was doing, where I was basically saying, you know what, let's use social media for something good, and something good in saying, let's start the conversations around savings. What were some of your reasons for participating in the challenge? And the second question would be, what are some of the lessons or takeaways did you leave with post the challenge?
Yeah, I think one was intrigue, because following TKO consultancy, I started seeing the hashtag, Lisente to Makholo, and I was like, okay, let me just go see, and just having seen the work you're doing through TKO consultancy over the years, I was like, okay, let me just, go see what the challenge is about, what new tools maybe one can get out of the experience. And it was really great because I think I remember, I think it was the closure, if not the kickoff, when everyone was just sort of sharing how much they'd saved and the different platforms. So you sort of open your eyes to more tools in the toolkit of how you could save your money. And I think for me, that was the biggest thing. I remember someone said they'd saved through, I don't know if we can mention names, saved through M-Pesa, which for me has always been a transactional sort of platform. I keep my money in there so that I don't have to stand in line to pay certain things. But I was like, oh, okay, actually, you could actually do this. And then even within savings, I went and diversified my portfolio, so I have like emergency funds that I can access tomorrow, which has happened like twice this year when my car gave me issues after payday, after I've blown all my money. I was like, okay, this is easy money I can access, And then there's like midterm savings that I can only access maybe every 3 or 4 months. And then there's long-term savings I can only access like in 12 months time. So just also diversifying within your savings portfolio. I think it was, and just seeing the different mechanisms that people were using, everyone's like, we were like, okay, how do we change the stock form model to suit us, different from what our parents were doing? How do we change this? How do we add this? So it was just understanding. I think the biggest takeaway was that toolkit.
Toolkit.
There's just so much, it's savings, but it doesn't have to be vanilla for everyone.
I love that. So in the last couple of months, particularly around 2020 and 2021, you've been working to create this safe haven that just looks amazing on the pictures. Tell us about that journey.
That was an interesting journey. It started off, obviously when you decide to go rent or stay in your own place or whatever, you have a vision of what you want it to look like. I've always said I have champagne taste on a beer budget.
Yes.
So initially I had a figure and, started off well, and then, but I quickly realized that just gets the big stuff. And then there were other things. So it really tested my savings journey. Some months were better than others, definitely. But I think it also, again, for me, played into the conversation I was having with my friend. I think it was actually even around my space that you can have everything, but you can't have everything at once, because my desire was like, I want to be done in 6 months so that I can free up my funds and do other things, but it was that journey, like, okay, I really like that. I can't afford that right now, so let me save a bit. I really like, a certain type of couch. I really like a certain type of TV. I really like a certain type of ornament, So I really had to, in some places I failed. In some places you also overbuy, I think you bumped into me a couple of times with, a couple of decor items that, in hindsight I probably didn't need at the time. But it's really also instilled, or reinstilled the journey again that you can have everything on, but it's a waiting game. And again, waiting a lot of time works in your favor, because there's some things I look at now that I rushed to get when I first saw them. Like, I really could have waited and maybe gotten something better. And there's some where I'm really glad I counted my pennies, I waited it out, and I finally got what I really, really want, because it's an investment that I don't have to change the next year or two. I could take them, to the next place of my, future home. Yeah.
Okay. And then in the last minute in closing, what would you say? Okay, let me rephrase the question actually. What would you say the future looks like from a financial perspective? Your future, your money future looks like? from this point onwards?
I think it's a lot more saving, a lot more investing, a lot more trying to increase my actual earning potential, because you can only have the other two if you're actually, you're increasing your earning potential also. But it's a journey. Like, some months are better than others. And I think I've also learned that you have to be very disciplined, but at the same time exercise a lot of kindness to yourself on the journey. That month you're going to really get right. That month I feel like a champion. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to ask TK to employ me because I'm ready to tell the world about financial wellness. Like, I got this down. And there are months I'm just like, if TK saw my bank statement, he'd be like, girl, what have you been up to? So just exercise kindness, exercise discipline, and just always, I believe in having fun with your money because you work hard for it, but also don't steal from your future. Don't deprive yourself of things that you want, in the future. So it's an ongoing process.
Don't steal from yourself. Thank you so much for sharing your money story.
Thank you so much.
And what would you say to anybody who wants to join the 2021 edition?
I would say
30 seconds.
Please join it. It's a great community of people with, a lot of different ideas on how to save money. And when you hear what people are doing, you genuinely also want to do better. I remember in our cohort, there was a lady who was like, she saved 25,000 Rand. And I was like, girl, you're playing, you better pull up your socks. And so it's just a great community of people who want to do better, who share a lot of great ideas. And I think you leave, like I said, with a lot more tools in your toolkit. Yeah.
It's a journey of self-discovery, a journey of mastery, financial mastery in this case. And of course, community of people who have different ideas. I learned a couple of tools I was not aware of through that challenge as well. So I will do an individual video where I will talk about how to join the Lisente to Makholo Savings Challenge 2021. Until then, thank you so much. These are Money Stories with Lisente to Makholo, and I had the privilege of talking to, I call her Tabi. You can call her Rethabile. Thank you, enjoy, and take care of your money. Peace.